145, not my blood pressure. Yet. Tonight, we're talking about something genuinely important. 145. This represents the number of signatures on a petition for the #ReasonableRanks campaign. That number is growing. Each signature is a voice saying, perhaps we should do something about it. The momentum is building and it's genuinely inspiring. Let's bask in the glow of 145. It's a milestone. It's proof that a small group of determined people can start to make some serious noise. It's about the veterans who deserve better, and the citizens who are standing up with them. It's about the principle that when someone offers to serve their country shouldn't turn its back on them if they get hurt trying. Alright, so we've established that 145 is a good number in this context. But what exactly is the #ReasonableRanks campaign fighting for? Here's where it gets infuriatingly sensible. The campaign is all about seeking justice for military recruits injured during their initial training. The core issue, when these recruits are medically discharged because of injuries sustained in training, they often find themselves in a bureaucratic black hole. The #ReasonableRanks campaign argues quite reasonably that these individuals should be treated with fairness and dignity. It's about ensuring that their sacrifice, even at this early stage, is acknowledged, and that they receive appropriate support, rather than being cast aside. It's about basic fairness. The campaign wants to ensure these injured recruits are not left to fend for themselves, often with life-altering injuries and shattered dreams. The campaign is essentially saying, hey government, these people were hurt while trying to become your employees. Maybe don't just show them the door with a better luck next time and a mountain of medical bills. The #ReasonableRanks movement is pushing for systemic changes to how these cases are handled. It's about making the system, well, reasonable. So, what exactly happens to these veterans? What do they lose when they're injured in training and then shown the door? First and foremost, they often lose out on crucial veterans' benefits, healthcare, disability compensation, and access to support programs. For many injured in training, these doors slam shut before they ever really opened. Suddenly your nascent military career is over. And then, to add insult to injury, you discover that because you weren't fully qualified or hadn't served long enough, you're not eligible for the very benefits that would help you cope with that service-connected injury. You were injured serving, but you didn't serve long enough to get help for the injury you got while serving. Beyond the tangible loss of benefits, there's the loss of a role, an identity. An injury in training snatches that away. They are suddenly a civilian again, but a civilian with a fresh injury and the ghost of a stolen future. And finally, there's the lack of recognition. Their sacrifice, their willingness to put themselves in harm's way, even in training, often goes unacknowledged. The #ReasonableRanks campaign is fighting to change this narrative, to ensure these individuals get the benefits, the support, and the recognition they so clearly deserve. Let me tell you about Dave, not his real name, but his real story. Dave was young and fit and incredibly keen. He signed up for the Army, passed all the initial tests, and was raring to go. During a particularly tough part of basic training, Dave took a bad fall. It turned out to be a complex fracture, one that would require surgery and extensive rehab. Dave was still technically a trainee, not a fully fledged soldier. The result? After months of uncertainty and painful recovery, Dave was medically discharged. Because his injury occurred too early in his service, he found himself ineligible for many of the long-term medical benefits and disability compensation that would have helped him manage an injury sustained directly because of his military training. He was left with a permanent limp, a stack of confusing paperwork, and the crushing feeling that he'd been chewed up and spat out. Dave's story, or versions of it, is sadly not unique. There are many Daves out there. It's stories like Dave's that fuel the #ReasonableRanks campaign, pushing for a change that ensures no one else has to go through this kind of preventable hardship. Now, fighting for systemic change can often feel like trying to push a very large, very stubborn elephant up a very steep hill using only a teaspoon. But the #ReasonableRanks campaign, despite the odds, has been making some genuine headway. First off, public support is growing. That crucial 145 signatures, just the tip of the iceberg. More and more people are hearing about the campaign, understanding the injustice and lending their voices. It creates a groundswell of opinion that becomes harder and harder for policymakers to ignore. Then there are the city partnerships. Several city councils have officially recognized the #ReasonableRanks campaign and expressed their support. Local government endorsements lend legitimacy and can help amplify the message to higher levels of authority. Furthermore, the campaign has been meticulous about legal compliance, ensuring all its advocacy and activities are above board, transparent, and legally sound. The campaign has been featured in local news outlets, on podcasts, and across social media, helping to spread the word far and wide. It's a testament to what can be achieved when passionate people refuse to accept an unjust status quo. So, we've celebrated the 145 signatures, we've understood the problem, and we've acknowledged the good work done so far. The #ReasonableRanks campaign has a clear roadmap for what comes next. First up is the signature sprint boost, that petition number. We're talking about taking 145 and multiplying it, aiming for a figure so large it can't be ignored. The campaign will be pushing this hard across all platforms, making it easier than ever for people to show their support. Next is a planned speech before a key city council, a critical opportunity to present the campaign's case directly to elected officials. Alongside this, the campaign is developing updated outreach materials, new brochures and videos, and social media content to keep the message fresh and accessible. Finally, there's the Veteran Voices Project, collecting and sharing the personal stories of veterans affected by these unfair discharge policies. These narratives will provide the emotional core of the campaign, humanizing the issue and demonstrating the real-world impact of these bureaucratic failings. It's a busy schedule, but a necessary one. You might be thinking, all right, I get it, but why should really care? The reforms sought by the #ReasonableRanks campaign matter profoundly. They matter for the individuals directly affected, for the integrity of our military institutions, and for the kind of society we want to be. Firstly, let's talk about career reassignment. If a recruit is injured in training but still wishes to serve and is capable of performing other duties, they should be considered for reassignment. This isn't charity, it's common sense. Secondly, benefits retention. If a recruit suffers a life-altering injury directly due to their training, they should be entitled to appropriate medical care and compensation. The institution they were serving should therefore take responsibility for the consequences. Denying them benefits because they didn't cross some arbitrary time and service line is a cruel loophole that needs to be closed. And finally, public recognition. These individuals who were injured while preparing to defend their country deserve to be recognized for their sacrifice. Proper recognition validates their experience, acknowledges their contribution, and helps to counter the sense of being discarded or forgotten. These reforms are about ensuring that our systems reflect our values: fairness, responsibility, and respect for those who step forward to serve. That's the big deal. Let's be brutally honest for a moment, shall we? The current system, the one that allows dedicated recruits to be injured in training and then effectively abandoned, is, to put it mildly, a bit of a dumpster fire. It's a bureaucratic labyrinth seemingly designed by someone who actively dislikes people who volunteer for difficult jobs. It's a system that often prioritizes arbitrary rules over actual human beings, which, if you think about it, is a terrible way to run anything. The absurdity lies in its short-sightedness and its inherent unfairness. We ask young men and women to commit to a demanding, often dangerous profession. We put them through rigorous training designed to push them to their limits. And then, if they break during that process, a process designed, we sometimes act as if they've failed a personal test of invincibility rather than suffered an injury in the line of duty. This isn't just inefficient, it's morally questionable. It sends a terrible message to potential recruits and to those already serving. An injury sustained on day one of training can be just as debilitating, just as service-connected as one sustained years into a career. It's about ensuring that when we ask people to take risks on our behalf, we have their backs if those risks result in harm, regardless of how many weeks they've managed to circle on a calendar. So, there you have it. The #ReasonableRanks campaign fighting the good fight for injured recruits. 145 signatures is a fantastic start, a testament to growing awareness and a refusal to accept the status quo. The point is, 145 is not enough. Not nearly enough to force the kind of change that's so desperately needed. This is where you, yes you, come in. Your superpower in this instance is the ability to click a mouse, to tap a screen, to add your name to a list of people who believe that fairness and dignity shouldn't be too much to ask for those injured while preparing to serve their country. Signing the petition for #ReasonableRanks is your chance to be part of that roar. It's your opportunity to tell the powers that be that this issue matters, that these veterans matter. Share it. Share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Post it on your social media, talk about it, make some noise. Because the more people who know, the more people who sign, the stronger this campaign becomes. This isn't just about abstract principles, it's about real lives, real injuries, and real futures. So please, find the #ReasonableRanks petition, sign it, share it, be part of the solution. Let's get that number well past 145 and show that we, collectively, demand better.